Hello and welcome to the final regular round of the Trust Me Halloween special. After that weird sex mimes segment, Cam has a 1-point lead. But as the storyteller this round, only the others can score. So let's find out if we can trust Cam and the kiss of death.
Due to a childhood trauma, I actually hate Halloween.
I was worried you were going to say you were missing a nut.
I was going to say I have your nut.
And to be both?
Well, and actually, now you know I'm missing a nut, but now I know where my nut is.
No.
It's been missing a long time.
It hasn't been on ice that whole time, so it's probably you can't even reattach it.
She's just keeping it in a little velvet.
I actually hate Halloween.
What happened?
Well,
Tell Daddy.
so my mom had sewed a clown costume. On the day of Halloween, I get up, she puts the costume on me. Here's a plastic pumpkin, got some candy in it, sends me off to school. I'm walking to school, school bus passes me. All these faces looking at me like this. No one else is dressed up for Halloween.
Your mom have like last year's calendar or what?
The problem was dress up day wasn't supposed to start until the lunchtime, but I didn't know that.
That's a true thing.
So I had to go and spend most of my day dressed as a clown. And there was only one other kid that was a farm kid whose name was Rob Barfuss.
Oh,
right?
no.
So me and Rob Barfuss, because he was dressed up because he came from a farm.
Uh-huh.
He had actually a watermelon farm, which is at Halloween not as successful as a pumpkin farm. As you might know. We had to sit at the back of the class. Some kids that were twins who later on dressed up as Kiss, the band Kiss, threatened to beat me up when they were dressed up as Kiss. I was terrified. I was a sad clown. I was eating my lunch from my plastic pumpkin, which was full of candy, which is a horrible lunch for children, by the way. I was quite sick, and my friend Rob Barfuss, the watermelon farmer, only had watermelon. It was quite tragic, and we were in the cloak room. And at that time, no one had cloaks, which was very confusing to me that it was called the cloak room. So we were in the back, and we sat there. It was very humiliating, and eventually I did get beat up.
People haven't had cloaks for 80 years. Why are we calling it a cloaker?
I don't know if you caught the most dramatic part of my story, but in the end...
Yes, his last name was Barfuss. We got it.
I did get beat up by Kiss.
Oh.
By the band Kiss.
But
Not the real band, just the people
Just the
dressed
twins.
up like
There wasn't
they.
even enough of them to be the whole band.
which members of Kiss were they?
Was it the kitty cat?
It was Gene Simmons. He got blood all over me. And it was also Paul Stanley, and I think he tried to kiss me.
How far could he stick out his tongue?
Which
Like,
one?
could he?
Kid that played was Gene Simmons.
Barfuss.
Listen, I didn't know whose fingers were whom or whose tongues was whose. There were tongues and fingers and fighting
Blood.
and clowns. I didn't know what was going on. They both had quite long tongues. They were twins. What a dumb question.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I didn't mean to be sensitive. This is traumatic for me. I didn't know we were going to call this story up. And I've been through a lot of clown counseling, and I didn't know this was going to happen.
Lee Barfuss only had watermelon.
I know. It's so sad for Barfuss.
His parents actually literally drove him to school in a truck full of watermelon.
But that's all they gave him to eat?
I think they gave him more than that. Like, I'm sure they grew other gourds.
Here's a squash to go with your...
Have some pumpkin, Barfuss, have some,
I know what I'm being for Halloween next year. Barfuss, the watermelon
You're being
farmers.
Rob
Yeah.
Barfuss. I actually want to know where...
Cam's stroking out. Are you back?
Yeah,
No.
well, I'm here.
It was Cam's ghost.
Yeah, you got all the other friendly ghosts got involved. It's like, I don't want you making fun of Barfuss.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Medicine Hat, Alberta. Same place as Jeff and Tara.
Hey, Tara,
Yeah.
out of all the farming that is done in Medicine Hat, how many watermelon farms do you know of?
Are you allowed to ask other people questions?
I I don't recall watermelon farms.
Well, if you're using logic to determine if I'm telling the truth, Kiss was quite popular at the time.
That's true. That's true. Kiss was popular at the age you did not specify.
Yeah, at 1970, 80, 90.
P.S. If you said the word kiss now to children, they would still know.
I will not be saying the word kiss to children.
Not anymore, you won't.
What do you think, Tara? Due to a childhood trauma, does Cam actually hate Halloween?
As much as Cam seems like an individual that would totally love Halloween, I can understand how a trauma like that could happen, especially in a zany place like Medicine Hat.
Alex, what do you think? Does Cam have a traumatic childhood experience that made him hate Halloween?
It won't stop going in circles, just like your story. This story is fabricated around and around. That's a false.
All right, I just had to clarify for us non-Wiccan types.
Yeah. Thanks for asking, Jeff. Stop flirting with me.
Oh, shucks. What do you think, Jackie?
You know, you burned me before, but you really pulled me in with my mom made my Halloween costume, because my mom used to do the same. And I remember when you couldn't wear a costume until lunchtime, like after lunch. So I'm going to say I trust you.
All right. Cameron, what's the truth? Did you have a childhood trauma that made you hate Halloween?
Fucking hate Halloween.
Hey!
There's the promo right there. It's the Halloween special.
I hate Halloween.
I really don't like it. I don't like it.
The clown thing actually happened?
Ah, yeah. It terrified me. It was actually a time in my life that I first felt Swent's dreading fear.
His last name was Barfuss?
His name was Rob Barfuss, and they were the biggest watermelon farmers in our area.
Have you ever went to mom and been like, hey?
She probably laughs about it.
Oh, she laughs hilariously.
Aww.
Well, and says stuff like, well, of course, now I understand why you are the way you are.
Right. My mom made me a clown costume too. Could be filled with balloons. So that I was just this massive clown walking around. Clearly I wouldn't fit in my desk.
I'm surprised your mom wasn't worried about you lighting on fire from all your candles.
I've been 6 feet tall since I was, 12 probably. My mom made me a Viking costume. Helga was the nickname that stuck with me forever.
Your dad really didn't want you to get into porn.
Hey, there's niche markets for everything. 6 feet tall Helga would have done well, I'm sure.
Oh, man.
How did I do there? Did somebody believe me?
I did.
I said yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm a good liar. I don't know if I'm very good at this game.
You're an excellent
Oh,
liar.
you're fine.
Hey, thanks.
Well, Cam may be an excellent liar, but it turns out he really did have a traumatizing childhood experience that made him hate Halloween. Hey, at least we got to hear a funny story about it. Since Jackie and Tara trusted the story, it's a 3-way tie for first. But the points will be as plentiful as Barfuss's watermelons in our bonus round, coming soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a single segment of Trust Me.